Welcome, Mountain View parents and students that are here joining us today. You're logging onto the session on how to navigate college as a first-generation student, and it's hosted by our friend from UC Merced, Alex Delgadillo. And if this is not the session you intended to sign up for, feel free to go back to the Countdown to College main page and select the right session for you. We do have a limited amount of time, so I'm going to hand the floor over to Alex so you can go ahead and share all these good tips for us.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Again, I'm Alex Delgadillo. I'm the Associate Director for Educational Equity and Access here at UC Merced. So I oversee a variety of programs to help first-generation students here at UC Merced as they navigate the university through their tenure here at the university. So one of the things about going to college is education is not a learning of facts. And sometimes students come to college thinking that it's a lot of memorization because they've had to do that through their tenure in high school. But in actuality, in college is where faculty will ask you, what do you think about this? So what's your opinion? What's your thought about something like that? And for many students who are especially first generation students, that is not always something that they're accustomed to. But for some first generation students, it is like learning new territory, navigating new waters and so forth. And because no one has prepped you for what college is going to be like. You're pretty much feeling sometimes that you're on your own, and each day you're trying to figure it out as you progress through your courses, through your engagement with other scholars, as your engagement with faculty and so forth, and just trying to figure it out. But also be aware that colleges and universities have a variety of different programs for a variety of different student populations that we often refer to as special populations. Students who might be the first in their families go to college, students who come from former foster care and homelessness, students might have been system impacted by incarceration, students who are LGBT plus, non-traditional age students, returning scholars, students who may have left the university and now returning back after maybe taking a leave, scholars with disabilities, transfer students, students who might be transferring from another university or transferring from a community college, and then undocumented students as well, and veteran students, students who have served in the military and now are pursuing their education. So one of the first things to think about is living on campus. Now, a lot of students might be reluctant to live on campus thinking, oh my goodness, that's an added expense. But if you have indicated on your application for financial aid, whether you're submitting the FAFSA or the California DREAM Act, you indicate that you will be living on campus, and universities will readjust their financial aid award to accommodate your living on campus, and so therefore not incurring that cost. So it's not additional cost. But the other thing to also think about when you're thinking about living in the residence halls is also, are there different certain theme programs? Do I want to live in a co-ed building? Do I want to live on a single gender? Do I want something that emphasizes my major, such as engineering or business or biological sciences? Am I interested in something more related to culture? So Afro Hall, or for African-American students or Latinx students or LGBT plus students? Or am I interested in doing community service, or I'm interested in renewable energy or outdoor adventures? So a variety of different residence halls in college will provide the opportunity to have different types of experiences and different type of communities for you. But also studies in higher education show us that students who live on campus at least for 1 year tend to graduate in 4 years, will graduate with a higher grade point average, and be more persistent in utilizing the resources that a university offers. As you can see, there's a variety of different benefits of living on campus, especially the first year as you acclimate to the university, and also starting to build up your social networks, making friends, also having access to computer labs, accessing to study lounges in the residence halls as well, or becoming involved through the student government for the residence hall system, or leading on into positions or leadership positions here at the university. So sometimes college will feel like Sisyphus, pushing a big boulder up a hill, and it feels like it's overwhelming, but sometimes we find the inner strength to continue to push back. And that's what happens for first generation students, not always knowing how to push back, where to find the necessary energy and the resources to take on the challenge of university life. Sometimes first generation students go through a period of what's called the imposter syndrome. Sometimes students feel like, well, I'm not as prepared as other students. Why is it other students seem to know more the answers that the professors are asking? Why don't I know that information? And we find ourselves comparing ourselves to others, when in actuality, we belong at that particular college or university. The Office of Admissions did not make a mistake in offering you admission, because you demonstrated and you distinguished yourself during your high school years, to not only as a scholar, but also as a leader, and also the character that you demonstrated in your application for admission. So we all go through this. I went through this as a student, and realizing that my university was one of the top universities in the world, and thinking, oh, wow, it's very prestigious that I'm attending. And then all of a sudden, I start to wonder, like, how did I get in here? And yet in my classes, sometimes feeling, yes, why do other students seem to know the information better than I? And then coming to realize that I'm just as bright as other students, and I do belong here. And once you find that sense of confidence, everything will fall into place. So what matters most for students is to understand it's not about who you are, or where you come from, but about what your determination is. What's your motivation? One of the key factors is the effort that you put in. Understanding that college or university is not like high school. And despite everything we tell students, that they still come in thinking, oh, I was a really good student in high school, I should be a really good student at the university. And that may or may not always be the case, because there are still transitional things that you have to go through or sort out for yourself. Sometimes the rigors of a course in college is much different than, saying, taking the same subject in high school. So being able to adapt and adjust and utilize the resources, and most importantly, remember to ask for help when you need it. EOP, Educational Opportunity Programs. I'm hoping that many of you have heard this term from your high school counselors about what this is. It's a program that's available at the Cal State system, as well as the University of California system. It's a program to support those who are income eligible, who are first generation students, or students who come from schools or communities that didn't always provide the necessary resources for them to be better prepared for the rigors of university life. So this is a program that students can apply for and then be accepted, and you get additional tutoring, additional advising, in some cases, even assistance in purchasing a laptop, and additional financial assistance to help you so that you can concentrate and focus on your academics, as well as your experiences at the university as you pursue other opportunities beyond the classroom. And you know that you will always have somebody through the EOP program to guide you. It's always good to know who your academic advisor. I'm often surprised how many students, especially first-year students, who say they don't know who their academic advisor, yet their advisor has been communicating with them via email. It is imperative, it is important, it is vital that you always read your emails, because in many cases you'll miss out on information because you're not reading your emails, missing out when the registration period is for your next semester to enroll in your classes, when the deadline for applications for financial aid or scholarship opportunities that might exist, or for internships or research opportunities. So it is important, but most importantly, to get off to a good start, know who your academic advisor is, as they will probably be your guide through the next 4 or 5 years that you're in college. Some of the things that lead to students having difficulties or not succeeding, especially during the first year. What we find with first-year students who are, particularly first generation, is they don't always know how to manage their time. So 73%, the reasons why they're struggling is because they're not using their time effectively. 62% is because they're not using the resources like tutoring or going to get some help or personal help. 60%, I haven't met with my instructor. Sometimes students are just intimidated by their professor. Oh, you know, their professors, they got a PhD. If I ask questions, they might not think I'm not smart, and so forth. No, you need to understand that professors are there to support you, and they have office hours, and you go to those office hours to ask questions, but also your faculty are the people who are going to write your letters of recommendation if you're applying to law school, to medical school, if you want to get a master's or PhD. These are the people that also can be your mentor for you in the time that you're at a university. That happened to me my first year. I struggled my first quarter in college, but fortunately I had a professor who was one of those professors who I was in his class my first quarter in college, and he guided me and he mentored me through 4 years. And if it wasn't for him, I don't know how I would have gone through college. But see your faculty not as people who are very bright and intelligent and determine your grades, but these are people that are going to guide you in learning your careers, but also are going to support you when you have moments of doubt. For my professor, he is the one who suggested I go get a master's degree. And I'm eternally grateful that he encouraged me and pushed me to that, because I wouldn't be doing what I do now if it wasn't for him. And sometimes 55% of the time, I meant to go to tutoring. I meant to go to office hours. You got to follow through on the things that you said you were going to do. And this plagues many college students, including first generation students. Also understand that you not doing well academically can influence your continuing receiving financial aid, as every student is going to be reviewed at the end of every academic year to be sure that they're passing their grades, their classes with 2.0 or better GPA, and they're passing more than 70% of their classes. This will be reviewed by the Office of Financial Aid at the end of every academic year. And unfortunately, students don't always associate academic performance with financial aid. And so we see students struggle, and then the prospects may be losing their financial aid because they were not getting the help, maintaining their grades, or developing good study habits for themselves. But again, this is something the students can avoid by being aware that this is something that the Department of Education requires each university's Office of Financial Aid to review every student to be sure that they're meeting these requirements. College is a series of making choices. You're going to go left, you're going to go right, you're going to go straight ahead. Which way you're going to go? But college requires you to make good choices, and hopefully those choices are because you have the information you need to make solid, good choices for yourself. Sometimes college feels like this. Oh my gosh, it's astrophysics. I'm trying to figure out what's the formula here. I'm trying to figure out college, and that's how it feels sometimes. But one of the first things to do as you think about going to college is sign up for orientation. It's a summer program for both students and their families to attend orientation to learn more about how to be better prepared for the start of your academic career, but also your families learn how they can become better partners for you and to help you and support you, even if you're 300 miles away from home. So to help you and guide you, because they're also getting the same information in case you forgot something. Your family's always going to say, hey, I remember they talked about at orientation about this tutoring program or this mentoring program. You should really sign up for those kind of programs. Also, look for programs that help you if you're undecided, undeclared. I'm going to college, but I don't know what I want to study. Or I said I'm going to be a sociology major, but I'm not really sure what I can do with that. There are a variety of programs that help you and guide you not only to determine and find out what's a good career and what might be an appropriate major or series of majors that might be applicable, but also learning about your major and understanding the possible careers that you can have because of that major. Remember, an undergraduate major does not determine what you're going to do with the rest of your life. It gives you a great foundation, academically, intellectually, fundamentally, of what you can do with your life. Also, if the university or college you're attending, do they have a mentor program? And what that is a program for students who are still trying to figure college out, but you get matched with a mentor who's usually a student who's in their third or fourth year, who's already gone through very similar experiences that you are about to go into, and will mentor you for the entire first year that you're at that college or university. And they will meet with you weekly. They will talk to you about what's going on. They will provide for you referrals and references, provide for you resources to help you guide you through your first year of college. Also, enroll in a first-year seminar. Many colleges and universities have this type of program where you enroll for a quarter or for a semester and learn more about how does college work? How do I utilize the resources? Sometimes it requires writing weekly journals that your instructor will read and meet with you and talk with you about, how are things going? They will also maybe even provide as part of the course goal setting. What are your goals for this year? What are your goals for the next 3-4 years that you're going to be here at the university? And really helping you to lay out a plan and better understand how college is going to work for you and what you can do in your experiences both in and out of the classroom that will help you and prepare for what comes after graduation. Also, students who are former foster youth or homeless youth, There are a variety of different programs. In the University of California, as well as the Cal State system, there are Guardian Scholars programs to help those students who've been in those situations as they matriculate and try to learn to navigate. They also provide mentoring programs. They also help students with being able to get early registration in their courses. They provide year-round housing for these students, as well as help pay for their books. And the state of California also provides additional financial assistance to students who are former foster youth or homeless youth. Students who are undocumented, or students who come from mixed status families. Mixed status meaning students who maybe they are US citizens, but their immediate family, their parents or siblings might be undocumented, can also utilize these varied services. The University of California, as well as the Cal State system, now receives a great deal of funding from the state of California to support undocumented students and their families. So the support that you get from these kind of programs or centers or resource centers is not limited to just the student, but also their immediate family. It is important to learn about these services, especially if you can be helpful to your family and helping them to find the resources they need based on their status. Summer Bridge. Many universities, especially the University of California and the Cal State system, offer a summer bridge program where students can spend the summer before they start their first year at the college or university to not only take courses, but to also get better prepared for the rigors of, for example, taking a math class, a writing class, and be better prepared in those areas, especially if you're trying to improve your math skills, especially if you're trying to improve your writing skills and so forth. Summer Bridge can help you with that. And so usually it's about 8 weeks long. And again, it's always before you start your first fall semester or fall quarter at that particular college or university. If you have a disability, utilize the accessibility services at whatever college or university you attend. Sometimes students are really reluctant, thinking, I need to get over this disability I have, it's the stigma I have, I'm going to try to figure this out on myself. And then you realize, no, I need the help. So it's important that students, before they start their first year at a college or university, to register with the Student Disability Services or Accessibility Service, whatever it's called on that campus, to get the help that you need so that you have extra time for exams, that maybe you need to be proctored an exam in a separate location, that you get the assistance that you need, a personal assistance, whatever kind of audio equipment that you need, whatever it is that requires, for you to be successful. Also look for academic support systems, like, for example, tutoring systems. Now, a lot of people say library services. Why should I go to because in college, you will be required to write research papers. And if you are not familiar of the varied types of research papers and how they're written, it is important to go to the library so that the librarians there can help you on how to better format your research paper so that you can turn it in and get better grades. Also, are there peer-led tutoring sessions in the variety of courses, like, for example, economics, psychology, chemistry, biology, mathematics, computer science. So there's a variety of different type of services in the areas of tutoring. Writing center. Now, if you're taking a writing class or a core writing class, it's probably a good idea to take your paper before it's due to the writing center so they can give you feedback. And then you make the revisions you need and turn in your paper on time. And then you'll see that your grades will always be strong and stellar in your writing courses. But I will advise you, these are services that are available to you. But if you're not utilizing these type of services, you will struggle. Maybe English is not your first language. Is there an English language institute that can help me so that I better comprehend in my composition when I have to write papers? Can I get that help? Also, where are you spending your time? What are the things or priorities of where you need to be spending your time? Is the most important thing is studying and preparing for tomorrow's quiz? Or is it streaming things on Netflix? You have to understand that you have to prioritize the things that need to be done, the things that are still important, but can wait a little bit, and then the things that are really not that important. There are 7 days in a week. There's 168 hours in a week. There's 1,440 minutes in a day, 86,400 seconds in a day. Where are you spending that time? And these are the things that you have to balance. Not only balance in meeting the requirements of your academics, but also making time for yourself so that there is balance, because there is a correlation between taking care of yourself so that you can take care of your schoolwork. And that also entails sleeping, eating well, maintaining your relationships with your family, especially when you're far away, but also developing your social networks, making friends and so forth, making time for those things, but also importantly, making time to study, prepare, go to office hours, make time, especially if you have a job on campus. Where are you spending your time? And it is important to what's referred to as time management. Also, be smart about your goals. Always think about what are your goals for each semester. Are they achievable? How will you measure them? How will you know that it's successful? And how much time are you giving yourself to achieve that goal? Because the more you will become accustomed to setting smart goals, you're going to achieve them because you have a plan. And in college, it's always good to have a plan. Also, students who might live off campus or even live on campus. Sometimes, 42% of college students across the United States are going hungry. So colleges and universities have created basic needs resources where students can get groceries on campus or get gift cards so they can go to the local supermarket to buy groceries, or they can get emergency funds to help them out with rent or other things like that. So these kind of services are available at every college and university in the United States. Be sure that you become more aware of them and how to utilize them. And unfortunately, a lot of our students aren't aware. If you are a U.S. citizen or you are a permanent resident in the state of California, you can apply for CalFresh. So that's another thing. If you decide to move off campus after living on campus, be sure you're registering to get CalFresh so that it will help you in purchasing your groceries. The Dean of Students, every college university has a Dean of Students office where they can help you with emergency funds in case you're short on money to buy your books or you're short on funds to pay your rent, especially if you're living off campus. Maybe you have a medical emergency and you have to take time away from the university. You can take what's called an educational leave. Or maybe you choose to withdraw from the university and they will help you with that process. But they also provide a variety of different referrals, like the food pantry if you need groceries, counseling if you're struggling, and trying to come up with techniques of how to better deal with your time management or your anxiety. Also, emergency housing. Sometimes our students live off campus. Something happens at the house or apartment in which they're living and they need a place to live temporarily until things are repaired or whatever the situation is. We can provide emergency housing on campus until that issue is resolved. And the Dean of Students office is the biggest advocate on any college university campus to advocate for students to help students. But a lot of students are not aware that such an office exists where they can get the help they need. Financial aid. It's always good to meet with a financial aid advisor every quarter, every semester. If your financial aid system, if your finances with your family changes, but your financial aid has already been awarded and there's been a change to your family income, you can work with the financial aid office and they will help you and try to readjust financial aid to make up for that lost income so that you can get the funds that you need in order to still be able to live on campus or off campus, but also be able to pay your tuition. But if you're not communicating with the financial aid office, how can you know about this type of support? Also, if you're looking for additional scholarships, they will help you find additional scholarship. There's even offices of how you learn how to budget your financial aid so you don't spend it all. You're trying to stretch your 15 cents of financial aid into $1. How do you do that? So there's always financial management counselors as well. Always go to class, be organized, manage your time. Know where you're spending your time. Be successful in the classroom. Raise your hand. Do not be afraid. Be relentless in the classroom. Be fearless. And some students are really reluctant to raise their hand and ask a question, especially in a class of 300 students. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, if I raise my hand, ask the question, people will think I'm not that bright, that I don't understand. Let me assure you, there are probably about 65% of the 300 students in the class with you who want to ask that same question, but are thinking the same thing. So you have to raise your hand. If not for other students, at least for yourself. Be your own best advocate, okay? Study smart, learn techniques of how to study and how to prepare. And there's a lot of workshops and there's a lot of resources on a college university to help you and guide you through that. Be extraordinary, not only in the classroom, but be extraordinary outside the classroom. Remember, being a part-time student equals part-time grade. So put your best effort into every one of your classes. Again, be extraordinary. Know your professors. Do not be intimidated by your professors. Introduce yourself. Go to office hours. Now, office hours are when professors make themselves available for students to drop in at any time and ask questions. Utilize those office hours. Always communicate with your professors via email. Prepare questions in advance, because I hear that from students. I don't know what to ask when I go to office hours. So prepare questions in advance so that you can ask. And these are the people who are going to write your letters of recommendation. These are the people going to refer you for internships, or maybe even hire you to do research with them. But most importantly, it's also a means of gaining a mentor for you. Counseling services depends on what the things you're struggling with. Asking for help processing, having someone to talk to about what's going on as you maintain not only the kind of sense of like anxiousness that college can present for you, but having someone you can talk to and help you and guide you through those moments. Okay. And also there's a variety of different group sessions for based upon certain topics that a counseling center can provide. Also do research. Now, the thing is, it's about gaining knowledge, but if you do not have the opportunity to utilize that knowledge into research opportunities, these are the things that are going to make you not only competitive, but they're going to be more professionally, helping you to make you more professionally ready for what you do after graduation. Whether you're going to medical school, law school, you're going for a master's, PhD, or you're going straight into your career. Research internships are hands-on opportunities beyond the classroom to help you and be better prepared and understand theory to practice. Career services, if you're looking for a job on campus, this is where to go. But that's not the only thing they do. They can also help you to develop your resume, your cover letter, to help you research and find internships or research opportunities. Or you want to go to graduate school, get a master's or PhD, or go to medical school. They will help you and guide you through that process and how to better prepare for the eventuality of applying to those kind of programs. Have a plan, career planning. So maybe you want to go to grad school. What's the difference between going to medical school and getting a master's degree? That is the difference between graduate school and a professional school, which is law school and medical school. A graduate program is more where you're going to get a master's or PhD. So there is a difference, and there is financial assistance to help you and guide you if that's what you want to pursue. So have a plan. Understand that, many first generation students, this is what they think. I go to college, I get my degree, and I go get a job, and I can help my family. When in actuality is not a straight line. It's a series of lefts and rights, ups and downs, and so forth. But they're also filled with obstacles and challenges, but also things that can help you and guide you to the next step. And this is what you have to recognize. So here in this diagram is the rectangle areas in green, which kind of gives you the things that can help you. And then the octagon is much more in red, is much more the obstacles or challenges that may present themselves sometimes. So it's good to have what's called a career map as you map out your career during college and what could be possible obstacles, but also what are the things that can help you. Also, ethnic and cultural resource centers are available at a variety of colleges and universities. If you're looking for a sense of community, a sense of family, these are good places to start for yourself. Get involved. They also provide leadership opportunities. Also, the opportunity to be more engaging with faculty, as many faculty do get involved with a variety of ethnic and cultural centers as well. Get involved, join a student organization, be in a performance group, but also professional organizations that are related more to your career. Like, for example, NSBE, the National Society of Black Engineers, or SHIP, the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, or the Society of Women Engineers, or AMSA, American Medical Student Association. Those kind of organizations are referred to as professional organizations that help you to succeed and prepare for your professional life. And then there are cultural groups like MECHA, or like, for example, Black Student Union or the Vietnamese Student Association. These are kind of gives you that, again, that sense of family. Performance groups, dance groups, hip hop, and so forth. The things that are going to give you a complete and comprehensive experience in the time that you're at a university or college that completes and that whole experience that you're going to have in college. Be active, do research, go to the career services, go to advising and tutoring, be involved in field studies, meaning you're having hands-on experiences, internships, maybe in the summertime that could lead into a job after you graduate. Join a student organization, become a leader, find a mentor. Always find a mentor. And as Ice-T says, I'm a man of action. My name should be a verb. So that's what college is like, is making your education a series of actions. So at this point, I want to open it up to any questions you might have. Yes, this will be on the final.
Yeah, if there's any questions, we can maybe take one because our time is up. So if anybody has a question, feel free to ask it in the chat.
I guess there's no questions.
Nope, none. Well, this is being recorded, so it's going to be published within the next couple of weeks. Thanks so much for joining us today, Alex. And
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
No problem. All right, everybody have a good night.
All right, take care.